Hi there. Are you looking to experience more love, more peace, and more abundance in your life? Do you want to wake up each day with greater purpose and feel more fulfilled? If you are, then this is the place for you. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Over the past 2 decades, our open and affirming community has created a safe space for all to come and be uplifted. I hope you enjoy watching, and if you like what you see, please visit us at cslnj.org.
Good morning and welcome. I am Reverend Neil Pinkman, the Spiritual Director for the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. A beautiful place to be. Whether it's on Zoom or in person, we're here and we love it. And we have a wonderful community. And for those of you who would like to know who we are, I've just put it in the chat. We proclaim each week who we are. And if you would, you can read right along with me. We are an open and affirming science of mind community where the vibration of love lifts you, the wisdom of the ages inspires you, and the science of mind teaching empowers you. We believe that heaven and hell are states of consciousness that you experience in this lifetime. Excuse me. And that you are the architect of your life, and that it's never too late to know true happiness. Let's all be happy today. What do you say? Everybody want to be happy? I'll be happy today. I'm all for happy, happy, happy. So we have some great music today from Lynette. Thank you for bringing us in with that music, Lynette. We'll hear more from you. And our speaker today is Reverend Evelyn Bourne, coming to us from sunny, warm Arizona. So we're all jealous of that, having been through this winter that we're having here on the East Coast. But I want to thank those folks for being part of what we're doing today. And we will, just a quick reminder, we will be in person next week and on Zoom both. So if you're in the area, stop by to visit with us over in Montclair, and we'll cover more of that later. Yes, I am open. I am completely open. I am open to that knowing, to that my faith is deep. It's not a belief, it's a knowing. It's a faith in this one mind, the divine mind, this power and presence that is always there, always the source for life here. And I know that life is perfect because all that comes from source is good and very good all the time. And I am that divine, unique, and exquisite expression of that divine mind right here, right now. This creative intelligence expresses through me. I am open to it. I allow it. I surrender to it. And I create a life that is uniquely mine, that is a beautiful expression of this divine mind as me, as an individual, right here, right now, expressing in the world of form, but being that absolutely perfect spiritual being. And that's the truth. And as Ernest Holmes reminds us, there's nothing to heal, there's only the truth to be revealed. And that is the truth, the perfection of each one of us in the here and the now, living in the presence and in the present, expressing this beautiful, beautiful one mind, the mind of God, right here, right now. And with that knowing and with that an unending amount of gratitude, I surrender these words to that power and presence, the love and the law that makes all of this possible all the time, has said yes a long time ago and continues to do it in every single moment. I live in that yes. Please join me in saying, and so it is. All right, and now for our affirmation, which is in the chat. This is our Audacity to Awaken affirmation. You can read right along with me. I awaken today with the courage to see myself clearly and love myself wholly, as I am and as I am not. I open my heart to curiosity, trusting that every question leads me deeper into truth. I embrace conscious evolution, knowing that life is always expanding through me. I release what no longer serves and boldly proclaim my divine power. I am awake, I am courageous, and I am fully alive to the brilliance of my becoming. And it says, I open my heart to curiosity. That's what March is for us. Welcome to March, folks. We made it. We made it. Can you believe next week will be daylight savings time already? It felt like we were never going to get there. I felt like I was never going to get to the end of my driveway, to be honest with you, most of this winter, but I made that too. So we enter into this new month, and it's wonderful. And I love the month. I love the idea of curiosity. It's just made such a difference in my life, and a lesson I learned a number of years ago, maybe not early enough, but curiosity really, really does keep us moving and prevents judgmentalism as well, which we're going to hear about next week from Reverend Michelle. So today's reading, and if you've been around for a little while, you know that I love Sermon by the Sea from Ernest Holmes. And if you haven't read it, read it. If you've read it, read it again. If you've read it 12 times, go for 13. What the heck? It's just a wonderful piece of work. And, I look at this and I wrestled with, well, which part should I read? There's so many good parts in here. But I finally decided I'm going to start with just the beginning, and take it from there. Our religion is not something to be lived merely here at Asilomar, as much inspiration as we receive from it, but rather to take that consciousness which we have arrived at here back with us into whatever activities we may be engaged in. I do not believe life is separated from its living anywhere. There is nothing in the world that can take the place of love, friendship, appreciation, and cooperation in our lives. I have thought so much about this all week because these are the only things that have any meaning in the eternal values in which we are so interested. Emerson said that it is very easy for us to maintain a spiritual equilibrium in solitude, but the great man is he who in the midst of the crowds shall still keep the sweetness, the independence of solitude. I do not believe there is a single fact in human history or a single manifestation in the universe which is or could possibly be anything other than the manifestation of the one divine mind, the one universal presence, the one infinite spirit. It seems to me that is only as we view It seems to me that it is only as we view all life, everything from what we call great to what we call small, important or unimportant. It is only as we view the whole thing as one stupendous whole, whose body nature is with God, the soul, that we shall really enter into communion, into sympathetic oneness and rapport with the reality of all that is about us. Someone asked me, what do you think God is? I looked out the window and I said, I think God is that tree. And there was a squirrel running up the tree, and I said, I think God is that squirrel. It is going to be absolutely impossible for us, with our finite comprehension, to have the intelligence to divide the indivisible and to say, this is real and this is unreal. The marketplace is as real as is the temple. That is why Jesus said that it is neither in the temple at Jerusalem nor in the mountain, but in yourself that the secret of life is discovered. I love that. But in yourself that the secret of life is discovered. That the soul of the universe is consciously entered into, and the divine and the benign spirit which indwells everything is loosed in its splendor and power through you, through your partnership with the infinite, through your oneness with God, the living Spirit. Again, if you haven't read Sermon by the Sea, it is a wonderful piece of work. Every week for, I can't even tell you how long we've been doing a peace practice. Today strikes me that it is really it seems that it could be incredibly more necessary than the last time we did this. But it certainly is. And one thing that struck me today, and just reading something that came up, where the leadership of our country, in an ironic statement, said the bombing will continue until peace happens. And you know, I really did, you know, the dog thing, like, huh? It's like, I don't know how that could make sense to anyone. But we know we have to keep working towards peace. And I will, again, since we're reading from Ernest Holmes today, this is what Ernest Holmes said about peace. Act as though peace already possessed your soul and it will possess it. Act as though peace already emanated from your spirit and it will emanate from it. Sneak peace into confusion and your peace will heal that confusion. This healing power is to be used and not merely believed in. We talk about that all the time, putting what we know, our faith, into practice. So in our normal peace practice, please repeat after me. I am the peace I wish to see. I know this peace for my family. My family knows this peace for my community. My community knows this peace for my country. And my community knows this peace for the world.
So I take a breath and I invite the presence of Spirit to be with me this morning, to fill me to overflowing with inspiration. And I bless all those who are listening here, present with me, and those who will watch the replay. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And so it is. So the great question, why? Why the suffering, sorrow, sin, the sickness, and a lifetime of trouble, only to be met at last by the grim and sinister tomb? Why? I'm skipping ahead a little, and it says, but hark, somewhere a vague answer has come. Some subtle inner sense of things, some unknown presence has given answer, and a still small voice has said to him, man and woman, know thyself. Man and women's response to this inner instinctive voice has caused them to start on the greatest adventure of his or her career, the discovery of mind. That's Ernest Holmes. So the title of my talk today, as you've heard, is Who's Your Guru? And I'm going to talk about how you can tap into your inner wisdom and imagination to empower yourself. So the inspiration for my talk came from the CSL recommended theme, or CSL NJ, I'm not sure, the practice of curiosity, asking the right questions. So I was going to use that as my title, but then the news about Deepak Chopra's name kept showing up in the social medias, that he was, his name showed up in the Epstein files. And so it sparked my curiosity. And I wrote a piece about it for my Substack publication because I grew up admiring Chopra and I wanted to share how his fall from grace impacted me spiritually. I will honestly say that I looked up to him. I held him as a mentor, and I bought just a few of the more than 100 books he's published over the years, including his first one, which really helped me to sort of begin shifting my mindset away from the rigid confines of Christianity. It was called Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. So Deepak Chopra's outing for showing up in the Epstein files was a wake-up call for me, because while I can honestly say I never really considered him to be my guru, right? I mean, he is just a man. I did admire him because it seemed like he had attained a level of spiritual wisdom and maturity that I aspired to. But what his downfall has taught me is to be careful how I hold others in consciousness. It forced me to realize that we are all mere fallible humans with weaknesses that cause us to behave in ways that might not be our best choice. I'll also say that I don't believe that his unskilled behavior that were revealed in the files and that have come to light take anything away from the wisdom that he shared in his books and lectures. So I'm not here to down on him. I'm here to really talk about how all of that controversy helped me to see how I was holding him and other spiritual leaders in consciousness. And so when I ask, who's your guru? You should answer me, because you already have access to all the wisdom you've been seeking outside yourself. I mean, even as a science of mind prayer practitioner, I don't consider Ernest Holmes to be my guru either. He's a guy who wrote a good book. He started a denomination of New Thought philosophy, and he's inspired a lot of people. But again, he's also just a human being. And it's important for us to remember that. So while you can be inspired by all the sacred texts and thoughtful books that wise people have written in the past, you have direct access to the source that inspired all those books. It's inside you right now, waiting for you to stop looking outside yourself for the answers. So my life's work now is to point you back to yourself, because God in me, as me, is me. God in you, as you, is you. I do not have a connection to the divine. I am the divine, and it expresses itself through me and as my life, as it expresses itself through you and as your life, just as you are right now. Not when you get better at meditating, not when you can levitate, not when you can walk on water or walk on fire, but as you are right now in this moment. So knowing that I think and move and have my being in the mind of the one liberates me to seek my answers from within. And that's also not to say that I'm not going to read books and consult with other people, but remembering that the truth is already within me. So who's my guru? I am. Who's your guru? You are. So it's my intention that you would walk away from this talk with the inspiration to tap into your own inner wisdom, to take counsel from your inner guru by asking yourself more empowering questions, and remember that you are thinking in the mind of God. So now I'm going to talk about the power of imagination. Albert Einstein famously said, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. I mean, just think about that. Your imagination is your connection to that timeless wisdom of the universe. And I think sometimes living in this culture and the way we're trained and groomed and domesticated, that we forget the power of our imagination. And I know that an important aspect of the science of mind teaching is Why is it called the science of mind, right? But tucked under that word mind is imagination. It's that beautiful creative power that each one of us has. So, imagination is the brain's ability to conjure images from our original thought or based on something that we've seen with our eyes. So, we can create things that do not yet exist in the physical realm in our imagination. So, according to brain coach Jim Quick, you can think and dream in images, but you can also control those images with your mind, through lucid dreaming and just ruminating in your imagination. And your brain can't tell the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that's real. So I get that there are some people who are unable to see images in their mind's eye. This condition or whatever, it's called aphantasia. And only about 1% to 4% of people have this. It can be a congenital condition. It can also occur after a traumatic brain injury or following psychological trauma. But the rest of us who have a limited storehouse of wonder when we close our eyes and tap into the creative power of our imagination. There's also an insidious use of the power of imagination that many of us indulge in more than we'd like to admit. And this is the habit of worrying. But worry is nothing but a misuse of imagination. So the next time you find yourself worrying or ruminating about something, catch yourself and shift your focus. In this teaching, we know that where attention goes, energy flows. Ask yourself, are you giving energy to a thing that you don't want? Flip that worry around and use the power of your imagination to shift what you're focusing on. So here's an example of what I found while doing research for this talk. So you've probably heard about how Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile in running in May 1954. Before Bannister, it was a foregone conclusion that humans were unable to run a 4-minute mile. While he was training, he also visualized coming in at 3 minutes and 59 seconds. He had that picture of the clock in his mind as he's running. And while he was training, he just continuously visualized coming in at 3:59. He saw his success in his mind's eye before he performed it with his body. And then, as I'm sure you've probably heard, after Bannister broke that 4-minute mile record, suddenly people all around the world were breaking that record also, because the record existed in our minds. So another example is Dr. Ellen Langer's 1979 counterclockwise study. So this is a story about how early in Langer's career, she was wondering, like, how can we tangibly measure the power of imagination in our physical body? So she brought a group of 80-year-olds to a retreat center. This was in 1979. The retreat center was decorated as if it were 1959. And these 8 men were 80 years old in, late 70s, early 80s. And she had the space decorated as if they stepped into a time capsule. Everything was decorated like it was 1959. The television, all the content on the television was what they would have seen if it were 1959. The men were directed to speak only in the present tense. And they were directed to speak only in the present tense and talk about things they would have talked about in 1959. This went on for a week. So Dr. Langer took pictures of the men as they went into the retreat, and then she took pictures of them after they left the retreat. And so some of the markers they found were incredibly, the men showed improved hearing, improved eyesight. Some of them lost a little bit of weight. Some of them, their strength improved in 7 days. And she held focus groups where she told people nothing about the study. She just presented 2 pictures of each of the men, one that was taken before the study, one that was taken after. And 100% of the people thought that the second picture was the younger picture. So they actually, their appearance actually changed from 7 days of living 20 years younger. That was their imagination. I mean, coupled with their environment, but the environment was just sort of like the canvas. So Dr. Langer says, with only subtle shifts in our thinking, our language, and in our expectations, we can begin to change the ingrained behaviors that sap health, optimism, and vitality from our lives. Improved vision, younger appearance, weight loss, and increased longevity are just 4 of the experimental results that show us more is possible. So, is there something you'd like to achieve? It doesn't have to be as historic as Bannister's breaking the 4-minute mile, but it should be a significant thing for you. We're going to talk about how to tap into your imagination in a few seconds, but I offer that you check in with yourself throughout your days and ask yourself, are you moving through your day in a mindful or a mindless way? You tap into your imagination and inner wisdom when you are in a mindful state. So let's look at how to tap into that inner wisdom and imagination. So Neville Goddard called our imagination God. Neville Goddard was a 20th century New Thought teacher. He did lectures around. I'm sure many of you have heard of Neville Goddard. He's one of my faves. And in his book, Imagination, The Creative Power in Man, he wrote, your own wonderful human imagination is the very power and wisdom of God in action. If you've listened to Neville's lectures, you've heard that phrase, your own wonderful human imagination, probably 50 times. That was one of the things he said a lot. So if this amazing New Thought teacher talked about God as our human imagination, that's a powerful thing. So we must tap into the depths of our own formless awareness to consciously use this power. So I have collected some of the steps for tapping into that power of imagination from several of his books and lectures. The first one is the art of shutting the door, as Neville calls it. We do this through meditation by withdrawing your attention from the evidence of our senses and the facts of this world. You can tap into that space of creativity, of your imagination. So you close your eyes, you turn your attention inward, and you move closer to your desired state. So step 2 is the I am meditation. To reach this state where all things are possible, we know we meditate. Hopefully, we don't just meditate on Sunday morning, like the beautiful meditation that Reverend Neil offered, but when you sit in stillness and relax, and you close out all of the noise and distraction of the outside world, and you declare to yourself, whether you have a mantra or you can just repeat, I am, I am, I am, and just achieve that formless nature where you slip the anchor of your challenges, your daily issues, and Neville says you can slip the anchor of your problems and catch the fish of your desires. So move from thinking of a thing to thinking from the desired state. So most people fail because they think of their desire as something separate or in their future. To tap into the reality of imagination, you must think from the wish fulfilled. So Neville instructs that you construct a scene, you use sensory vividness, and you assume the feeling of the situation that you would be in if you were in your desired state. Harness the power of feeling and sleep is the next step. So, because sleep, Neville calls the natural door to the subconscious mind. So, your subconscious is dominated by your last waking concept of self. Therefore, it's never advisable to go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. You want to take on a mood of accomplishment prior to sleep and, sort of rehearse the things that you're grateful for from the day and tap into that feeling that you would feel were you already in the possession of your wish fulfilled. And then just relax in as you fall into sleep, centered and grounded in that feeling that you would be feeling in your wish fulfilled. And that's where that starts to act on your unconscious mind as you're sleeping. So it's important to maintain a mental diet and to practice revision, which is sort of mentally rewrite the things that didn't quite go the way you would have liked them to go that day, and then revise them as to how you would have them go. And then finally, you want to maintain loyalty to your unseen reality. So once you have performed that imaginal act, you must practice faith, which is defined as loyalty to the unseen reality. So you don't question the how, right? Imagination means that it has ways and means that our human mind doesn't know about. By remaining faithful to our unseen construction that we're building in our mind, we compel it to externalize itself in our outer world. So I will leave you with this. Our theme for March is the practice of curiosity. Curiosity fuels imagination, which helps us to convert new discoveries and knowledge into creative insights. Curiosity has many, many benefits, and the Greater Good Science Center offers these benefits of curiosity, which we're going to cover throughout the month. I'm sure other speakers will cover these in different ways. Curiosity helps us to survive. It helps us. Curious people are happier people. Curiosity boosts your achievement. It can expand our empathy and help strengthen our relationships. Being curious can improve health outcomes, health care outcomes. So when your doctor is genuinely curious about his patient's or her patient's perspective, that can help improve healthcare outcomes. Curiosity is also linked to enhanced learning and memory, improved academic and professional performance, and deeper cognitive processing. It's also linked to better communication and empathy. So I invite you to stay curious. Ask empowering questions. Do your own thought experiments. Develop a mental vision board and create a vivid, multisensory representation of each image in your mind. And that helps to strengthen your imagination. And if you're someone who has aphantasia, then maybe write these things if you can't conjure the images in your mind. But never lose sight of the power of your just amazing imagination, and through the steps that I mentioned, through meditation, through tapping into that, when you're in meditation, that conscious connection with our divine source. I think a lot of us, I can say for myself, can sometimes go on autopilot and move through our days and not maybe just ignore this amazing power that each one of us has. So I want to leave you with that. So tap into your inner wisdom, and also never forget who's your guru. So I'm going to close with a treatment. And so I take a breath. So what I know is that there is only one power, one presence, one love, one law, one spirit, one mind. And this God, source, universe, this infinite power, this omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent power that is everywhere present, that is the power which created everything that we see. This power, I decree and declare that I am one with this power, that each one of us is inextricably connected to this one beautiful power and presence. And so I speak this word from this power, knowing that my imagination, your imagination, is the power of God, that I can tap into, live and move and operate in the mind of God. And so I'm grateful to know this. I'm grateful to know that when I encounter a challenge, I can just go within and remember to tap into that imagination and consider a new possibility, because God is within me. God is expressing itself as my life, and all of the answers that I need are within that beautiful power of the One. And so I deny anything that would try to stand against my knowing of my inner divinity, of my inner wisdom, of my inner guidance. I'm grateful for this life. I'm grateful for health and strength and vitality. And I include in the circle of this prayer those people around the world who are being injured and harmed by the actions of the leadership of this country. I pray for the mothers who have received bad news today. I pray for the people who are losing homes, for the schools, for the cities, for everything that's being decimated by the actions of this country. And I pray for the leadership of this country that wisdom would prevail, that love and compassion would prevail. And I pray for all those under the sound of my voice, for all of my beloved members of the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. I pray for health, strength, and vitality, for peace and love for everyone. And so it is with abundant joy and gratitude that I release this word into the perfect law, knowing all that I have prayed, that all that any of us has prayed has been accomplished. I allow it to be so, and so it is. Amen.
And thank you, Reverend Evelyn. That was wonderful. It was inspiring. It was a beautiful talk. I really appreciate it. One thing that you reminded me of, that Ellen Langer, in that study that she did, one of the things that surprised her was that she had all of these older gentlemen on a bus that she took to the retreat center. And when she got to the retreat center, she realized there was nobody to take the bags to the rooms
Yep.
for these gentlemen, right?
Right.
And they all got off the bus and they're all staring at the bags. And she said, well, you got to get the bags to the room yourself. There's nobody here. And apparently they all struggled. Some dragged them, some pushed them, some, tried to carry them. And then whatever it was, a couple of weeks later, when they were done with the retreat and all the work that she had done, they all came out carrying their bags. They all came out. So that shift is it's a fascinating study, by the way, especially if you are dealing with someone who is elder, or a population of people that are elder in your family, and you realize what the possibilities are. That is a great one. Thank you for mentioning that and reminding me
Mm-hmm.
about that. And again, thank you for a wonderful talk. And I am so grateful for everyone here today, everyone in this community. Again, we've been here a long time. This particular center, this community has done wonderful things. For me. Enough about me. Let's read our conscious giving affirmation. I bless this gift that I give today. I give this gift from my heart, and I give it mindfully. May my gift go further to heal, prosper, and bless this center and all who enter. I accept all good that comes, knowing that it does return to me multiplied abundantly. A little emotional today. So you're sitting there going, but Neil, that's great. You can get as emotional as you want, but what's going on at the center? Tell us more, please. So I will. Next week, as I said, we do have Reverend Michelle, who will be speaking for us, and we will be in person, and we will be on Zoom as well. So you can connect with us all sorts of ways, and she'll be talking about curiosity and the cure to judgmentalism. And don't be surprised if Curious George shows up next week. Just saying, it's a possibility. You never know what's going to happen. So we do have coming up a few different things. One is Bill Sarnowski is running his very limited class, which is being aware of being aware. That's going to be a limited group that'll be held in his home, and he is inviting those to join. It's based on the Rupert Spira's book, Being Aware, and that'll be a rather in-depth study into consciousness or awareness. So that starts actually soon, in a few days. So if you want to sign up for that, do it now. I will be running again another book discussion group on Saturday mornings in March, starting next Saturday. And that is going to be sort of a follow-up to the one we did last time. We spent a month figuring out how much power we do have, how much power is just, it's all available to us, right? So this time we're going to follow up with Mel Robbins' best-selling book called Let Them, and we're going to examine why do we give that power away. We have the power. What is stopping us, from using that power, and why do we give it away? And we take an examination of that. That'll be 4 Saturday mornings, and that'll be another great experience. We just have great conversations. It's just open conversation, and so much gets expressed and learned that it's fantastic. So, as I mentioned last week, the March is a great month, and yes, Evelyn, you're right. We are not following the CSL themes this year. We have instituted our own set of themes. So, and curiosity is a big topic with me. I think it just drives so much in our lives. It keeps us alive. It keeps us interested. It keeps us so vital. So we have next week, as I said, Reverend Dr. Michelle. The week after that, in person, we're going to have Reverend Eugene Holden in our sanctuary. And for those of you that are taking his course now, based on the book The Big Leap, this is a man. This man can pray, and this man is filled with personality. And it's a wonderful experience to hear him talk, but to meet him in person and to hear him in person, it's a privilege. It's an honor. And we are really looking forward to that. But the week after that, coming all the way from the West Coast, state of Washington, I believe, we have the Reverend Dr. David Alexander speaking to us again. So another powerful message, a powerful speaker. Then on the 29th, our Phoenix Shedding celebration will be in person. And that's with Tony Hamilton, who has done that for us many times over the years. And aside from all of that, I see there's some people in our group here today that are part of the membership team, and they're working really hard on putting together some special events like a youth day honoring the youth, and maybe inviting some of those in that have been that have grown up in our center. That'll be coming up in the next few months. They're really doing some great things, some fun things, but some things where you look back and I see Brian here, and as Brian walks his kids into the center, we all go, I don't know what he feeds them, but man, they're like, they started out way down here, and now they're way up here. And, that happened with Maya and so many of the other kids, too. Even Reverend Michelle's son, who's now got a little baby of his own, I mean, it's great to see that happen, and it's wonderful. So, That's the announcements for today, and we can't leave.
For Spiritual Living North Jersey, we believe in empowering individuals to discover their inner strength and their connection to divine life. Through our supportive community, transformative workshops, and uplifting services, we provide a safe space for personal growth and spiritual exploration. Whether you're seeking clarity, healing, or a deeper understanding of life's mysteries, our center offers practical tools and timeless wisdom to help you thrive. Join us in creating a more diverse, compassionate, and kind world. Your world, the way you want to create it.